all ages. Have you heard of this poem, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening? A poem written by Robert Frost. You have? You haven't? Well, today is this poem that I want to talk to you about, recite to you. In our very own channel, Ammu&You, I'm Ammu and I'm here with stories and poems through which I want to talk about different authors seeing life from their own perspectives. Now, this poem, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, has been written by the US poet Robert Frost way back in 1922. Yet, it is as beautiful and as reflective today as it was then. Frost called it himself my best bid for remembrance, and that would mean a lot. So let's hear this poem. Stopping by Woods. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. So, it is winters, it's snowing all around, and it seems the poet is traveling through this forest where he wonders that who does this forest belong to? He cannot see anyone for far, and hence feels that maybe nature and civilization have to be far apart. They are distinctly separate from each other, the natural world and the human society. This is the poet's vision, the perspective of the forest that he is traveling through. He describes the woods watching the snowfall while he is riding a horse, and it is night. He seems to be alone in the forest, and the speaker reflects on the natural world and its implicit contrast with society. It's a beautiful poem and it's a beautiful reflection done by the poet himself. The poem again continues. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. It is night, it is cold, it is winters, it is snowing, and the evening seems to be as dark as maybe the darkest evening of the year. The nature may have tempted the rider to stop there and look around, and he cannot see a soul, any place of civilization far. He is absolutely alone in the woods, and it further emphasizes the distance between the society and nature. He finds no farmhouses nearby, and only the harness of his own horse that he is riding. He gives his harness bells a shake. The poem continues. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. Even the horse seems to be confused whether he's supposed to stop there, because there is, according to the horse, maybe no reason to stop, no person to meet there. So the horse might be doubting the purpose of stopping there if by mistake the rider has asked him to stop. Only the wind is flowing and the snow is falling all around. This poem has so many imageries. It is so beautifully described that you can really see what the poet wants us to see about that wood. The nature raw and cold, still tempting the poet to stop by and look around. Nature also seems to allow this kind of quiet reflection that people may struggle to find amidst the stimulation of society. So, that also could be a reason for the poet to stop and reflect, looking around the woods there. This poem we have all read, or many of us have read, right through our childhood as we have grown. But personally, every time that I read it, it has some more meaning to add to it, isn't it? The last para of the poem says, "The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep." What a beautiful way to show the conflict, the struggle between personal desire and personal obligation, social obligations, social commitments that we all have. It is a beautiful poem of imagery, personification, and repetitions. So, my friends who love literature, who are familiar with this literature, must be very, very familiar with this poem. I chose this poem to expose it to my friends, again of any age, who have not yet been familiar with it, because I feel it is a must read. It shows how the poet maybe is confused and is contemplating whether he should stay back and enjoy that forest, or does he not have time because he has miles and miles to walk further, fulfill his obligations, his duties before he can afford to take rest. He has promises to keep. We do not know by the end if the speaker satisfies his or her social duties or remains in the woods. But promises to keep may be understood as the speaker accepting that social obligations often trump individual wishes and desires. It is also depicting the tiresome duties of society and the desire for individual freedom that has been manifested in the woods. This is a poem which I feel we can just hear it again as a whole. So here it goes. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Friends, let me know. What do you feel about this constant struggle, conflict between our duties and desires? This is life and it is worth reflecting upon. My young friends, let me know how you like the poem and what do you feel one should do when faced with this conflict. I would love to get your comments, to know your thoughts in the comment section below. Till then, stay blessed and wait for me again. I'll come back soon with another beautiful story or poem to hear and listen to. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time.